Hello, everyone, and welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, O'Neill, and today my guest is Ella.
Hello.
Ella, welcome to the show. What's your full name?
Ella Proksch.
Okay. I met Ella through a photo shoot, actually, excellent photo shoot. She took some great pictures just before she was going to a competition. And you're in the fitness industry and specifically into bodybuilding.
Correct.
The first thing I wanted to ask you is what attracted you to the sport?
Well, I've always been into fitness, sports, etc. Growing up, I was very, very involved in sports. Actually, went down the States on a field hockey scholarship and came back and had a child right away. So after each of my children were born, I did a fitness competition or a fitness challenge to get back in shape. So my very first figure competition, that's the category I compete in. Yep.
Okay.
Was after the birth of my second son, so 24 years ago.
Can I just ask you a question for those that don't know? When you say figure, what's the difference between figure and I think the other one is wellness?
There's a couple. There's 4 categories for women.
Okay.
Bikini, which women actually are fit and have muscle tone, but not quite as athletic. Wellness is similar to bikini, but for women who have a larger lower body. And then figure would be more of a sporty kind of sports physique where we have a little bit more muscle, more definition. We get a little bit leaner. And then you have, actually there's 5 categories. Physique, which is kind of a step up from figure. And the women are a little bit leaner, a little bit more muscular. And then there's women's bodybuilding, obviously.
Okay. And you were?
Figure.
Yeah. Okay.
So I did my first figure competition 24 years ago. Didn't mind the process, just hated the stage experience. And it got me into great shape after being pregnant. And so it helped with that, but I just didn't like the experience. So I didn't pursue the sport at that time.
You just didn't like being on the stage doing what you guys do, flexing.
Yeah. Well, we
posing.
don't pose. Well, we do pose. We do more quarter turn. Like we're judged on our physique a little bit more. So there's not a standard posing round that we go through. Whereas in women's physique and bodybuilding, there is. So at that time, though, the figure competition was a little bit different. We did do a routine similar to the bodybuilders, and I didn't really like that part of it. I don't like to be the center of attention, I guess you could say. In the gym, I just like to be left alone. I don't want anybody looking at me. A little bit odd because I know I get on stage in a tiny posing suit and with lots of people staring at me and judging me, obviously. But don't like the stage experience and definitely didn't like the stage experience the first time around. Fast forward 12 years later, I found my marriage was ending. I went through a separation and divorce. And like a lot of women who can probably relate, you take all your time, you focus on your kids and you focus on your husband. So I want to take some of that back and put that focus on me. So knowing I'm competitive and such, I had a good friend, who had recently done a competition. So I asked her to train me and do the competition. I competed in a different organization than I do now, but did very well in my first competition. I placed second. And then
That was your first competition?
That was my first competition.
And you second?
I placed second. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then the next competition, I got my pro card in this organization.
Mm-hmm.
And then I changed coaches just because thought the timing was right, and I was out in Durham at the time. So that's when I changed coaches, and I switched over to, it was OPA at the time, or CPA now. I did my first competition, again, experienced lots of success. I think I had a top 3 finish in my first competition. And then
does that happen often? Like when people just get started, like it seems like you accelerated pretty quickly.
I don't know. I don't know what other people's experiences are.
Right.
At that point in time, we had regional shows that worked up to provincial shows and then national. So it was a 3-tier system. Now it's only 2. So I think that there's more athletes in competitions now, regional competitions now. So it might be a little bit more competitive. I started out competing just only in the natural stream, and then did the open stream as well as the natural stream. Um, I'm blessed with I guess, good genetics in terms of putting on muscle. So yeah, I guess that's part of the reason that I did well.
Mhm.
So I competed in the amateurs for 10 years before getting my pro card. And now I compete in the IFBBPRO League.
And when you compete, it's not just here in Canada, but is it international or?
It is. Most of my competitions now are in the States. This past year, I competed in Pittsburgh and then also in Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
That was right. That was the show after we had our photo shoot. Most of the IFBB Pro competitions are in the States, and they also offer most of the masters divisions. So I don't compete in the open any longer just because I'm a little bit of a more mature athlete. We'll go with more mature. So I compete in the 40 and over and 50 and over and 55 and over now.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a big commitment. And for all those years, that's not. When I speak with other people, they talk about the cost that's associated with all this. And, when someone commits, which I want to talk about, like to commit to something like this, what was the support like those that were close to you or around you at the time? You said, you know what, I'm going to commit to this, knowing what's involved in that commitment. It's not like working out once a week or anything. This is
right.
like, and you could tell me, there's a consistent schedule, whether it's daily, the whole food, nutrition. Can you speak on that a bit? Like when you actually told people, this is what I'm going to be doing. By that laugh, I could just imagine some of the response that you got.
Yeah, some of them were, my kids are very, very supportive, and I'm very lucky that my kids are a little bit older, and they support mom in everything that she does. I think
Yay
they're
for the
secretly, I think they're secretly proud of me. Although every time I have a photo shoot, they tell me to unfriend them from social media.
Really? Okay. I wonder why.
They're all
They got friends too, I guess.
They do, yeah.
And mom looks good. I mean, I took the photos. You look amazing. So, but I get it.
But I do think that they're secretly proud of me.
As they should be.
My mom has muscle. I think my oldest actually admitted to showing his picture, my picture, to his friends once, and because he was saying that I was a bodybuilder. So they ask them about it, and they'll deny it. But love them to death. So they've been very supportive. My family also, although it's. At the beginning, it was kind of like, okay, this is a fad. It's going to come and go. And then I just kept up with it. I have a cousin who is very dear and close to me, and she comes to most of my competitions. She's I don't know if I can say this, but my bitch at the shows where she, if I need something, she runs and gets it for me. Family occasions, it's always, what are you eating? What do you need? How much do you need?
Okay.
So they're very accommodating. Mm-hmm. There's been many Thanksgiving dinners or Easter dinners that I've sat through where I've been eating chicken and broccoli and the family's having everything. So it takes a lot of willpower, that's for sure. Mm-hmm. And my work colleagues are very supportive as well, my boss and my company as well. It does mean a lot of commitment. I try not to let it impact work schedule, and I try not to let it impact my family relationship either. I never ask them to make any sacrifices for me. It's kind of, I would never ask them to have just chicken and broccoli at Easter or refrain from eating. There have been situations, though, that I've chosen not to go to. Like they've gone up to the cottage for an Easter weekend while I've been in the middle of prep, and there's just no way that I could have. I have willpower, but for a whole weekend, and it wouldn't have worked for me. So sometimes I have missed out on things, but generally they've been very supportive. every time I get to a point in prep where going, why am I doing this? I'm never doing this again. And then I will, be after competition. I've had a good season and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do another year. And they're always like, we thought you were quitting after this year. I'm like, yeah, whatever.
What's driving that? The competitiveness, or just the love, the lack of a better word, the high of just working out in the process?
Yeah. Well, I've definitely, as I said, fitness has always been a part of my life.
Yeah.
Working out has been a part of my life. So I definitely have a passion for it. I'm very competitive in nature. So it satisfies the competitiveness of it. And I'm in great shape. I mean, there's not a lot of women my age, not a lot of women in general that are in the shape that I'm in. So, and I'm proud of that.
As you should be, yeah.
Most people understand the commitment, the dedication, and the discipline it takes to do this and just to be in good shape. So yeah.
Okay. So let me ask you, that leads, because you are in great shape. And so when people see you and you walk into a room and, they behold Ella, do you find people treat you differently when they have interactions with you or when they find out what you're doing? Does relationships, does it impact family life, anything like that? Because of just, how you look and does it change relationships?
I think it certainly does have an impact on my relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly, most of the comments that I do get are positive. So I have a lot of people at the gym or people at work who come up to me and say I inspire them because they recognize the discipline or they see how hard I work. People at work know what time it is by what time I'm in the kitchen with my Tupperware. So,
right.
So they kind of admire the fact that when I pick a goal that I kind of stick with it and they see what it takes to do that. Family's a little bit different. Family, I know I had the comment before, Ella, you're much more fun when you're drinking.
Yep.
Which I don't do obviously during prep. So, but generally they like, as I said, my kids are proud of me.
Yeah.
My family is proud of me. So,
yeah. Because what I was referring to, or what I was just trying to get to, is just like socially, like your interactions with, not just with the family, just when you're at the gym, do people bother you? Do they ask you to bench press them? Do they say silly things like that? Because I hear that happens all the time. Just because, like, do you interact or do you get that kind of interactions with individuals when they see you?
Sure, I've had lots of interaction. I've had men come up to me before, ask me to arm wrestle or ask me how much I can bench, and I always tell them they're just for show. I'm not strong.
Yeah.
I am usually the one woman in the free weight section lifting up for some of the guys, some of the same weights. So it's kind of intimidating to some, I think. As much as I don't pay attention to things, I'm kind of in my own world. I don't do this for the attention. I used to have an assistant who we used to work downtown and we used to walk between buildings. And when I'm in the middle of prep, I'm quite muscular. You can see that I work out. He used to walk behind me because he used to laugh at all the people who would stare at me. So I do know that people look. They're not used to seeing a woman as fit as I am, especially really, really close to competition. Makes me kind of uncomfortable a lot of the time. In terms of social, like it has a huge impact to your social life. You're not drinking, you're not eating. A lot of people associate having a good time with food and drink. So when I'm not doing that, it's like
you're not fun.
I'm not fun, or it's pressure to one drink's not going to hurt, or one cookie's not going to hurt, or etc. And people just don't get it. It's not about the one cookie. It's I'm not going to be on stage and the judges are going to go, oh my God, she had an Oreo and she wasn't supposed to, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But they just don't get the concept of it all, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Okay. And it's interesting because I hear people talk about that all the time. Like people find them very intimidating, and they could be the sweetest, nicest person, but because you're built and you're strong and you're healthy, people just assume, okay, I can't approach them. And sometimes that works in your favor. Some people say, this is great. Like, leave me alone, especially when I'm at the gym and stuff.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's like, yeah, I'm like everybody else, you know?
There are a lot. And there have been a lot of situations. Like, I'm a regular at the gym, so I'm there at the same time,
Yeah.
day in, day out, 7 days a week during prep. And so there have been people who, have come up to me and asked me for advice, or people who clearly, when I'm cutting, you can see a difference week over week of how my body is changing, and they come up to me and give me words of encouragement. Those are more so the people who I see on a regular, though. The people, and I've also been in situations before where I had a mother and daughter once. Or I think it was a mother and daughter at least. And they were standing there staring. They were clearly looking, and it looked like there was some negativity about me being too muscular for a female or whatever. So fit shaming is real, because I couldn't do that to somebody who was overweight because I'd be fat shaming.
Yes.
So there's a kind of a flip side where people, I've had negative comments on social media. Don't gain too much more muscle. You're going to look like a man.
I see that. I see people doing that all the time, and it's
their insecurities, not well, exactly. It's not your body, and if I really cared, I wouldn't ask you for your opinion, and I don't tell you how to live your life. So
right.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, it's an interesting world, man. If everybody we're not a monolith. Everybody's different in what they want to do, and
for sure,
and what they want to look or how they want to look like. So, over the last 10 years, I guess female bodybuilding has grown, or bodybuilding as a whole has grown. What do you think has contributed to this growth, and do you see areas of improvement that's needed, and specifically in your area or category in terms of being in the masters category? Like, how have you seen it grown, and do you see anything that could be improved?
Sure. I think fitness in general has really changed a lot over the last couple of years. I think fit is the new sexy kind of thing, you could say. We've gone away from the Twiggy-like models where they're very, very skinny, and more of an acceptance of the body that we're in, whether it's fit, skinny, larger, heavy, just everything. So I think that's really helped with the bodybuilding as well. I think specifically for me, there's really been a growth in the masters division, or the number of more mature people who are getting into bodybuilding, whether it's for, as I did, a challenge where you're trying to lose weight or get to a certain physique or such. So, which is great as a masters athlete, because now one of the competitions I was at, I believe it was the Pittsburgh show, there was a gentleman who was 80 who was up on stage as a
80?
bodybuilder. 80, yes.
Wow.
And granted, I mean, at 80, like, he was very, very fit for an 80-year-old. He was very, very fit probably for a 60-year-old. But the fact that there is a avenue for him to pursue something that he clearly has a passion for, regardless of your age.
Well, that's the key thing, because a lot of people say, oh, you should stop in any, like, whether you're playing sports or like basketball or hockey or whatever the case is, there comes a time where you need to kind of slow down or stop, they say. But a lot of people say no, and I agree. You have to know your body and yourself and when to stop, and if you have a passion for it, why discontinue doing that?
100%. And you can either use it as your reason or as your excuse, right? I stay fit because I am older, and I know for women there's a lot of health issues like osteoporosis, for example, and other situations. So staying healthy is giving me the best opportunity to be independent for as long as I can. So that's part of the reason why I choose to continue to be fit. Not necessarily, I know at some point in time, the bodybuilding will, or the competitiveness will, or competitions will probably come to an end.
Yeah.
But I think it's really, really important that women and men, once they reach a certain age, are physically fit or physically active in some way, shape, or form.
Wow. Okay. Um, do you still play field hockey?
No,
by any
I
chance?
don't. You know what I did for the longest time, and then I had the coach in my last year at university. I didn't connect with very well, and it's really ruined the experience for me. And I haven't picked up a stick
Since then?
Since then. Volleyball was actually my first love, but at
Okay.
5'2", I'm not playing Division One in
Okay.
the States.
You're right.
And I said I was competitive, so I
Yeah.
wasn't about to ride the bench. So,
Okay.
so I did play some recreational volleyball, but then when I worked in fitness when I first got out of university.
I want to ask you that,
Yeah.
but go ahead.
I worked in fitness for the longest time. I taught some I started off as an aerobics instructor, and I had a really bad muscle tear in my calf.
Oh, okay.
As an injury, and so since then, since that injury, volleyball's a little bit tough with the stopping and starting and jumping and stuff like that.
Wow. So you were okay. So I just want to go back a bit. Like, do you ever do any personal training? Did you do that? Were you part of the? Oh, you were. Okay.
I did. I worked in the fitness industry
Yeah.
for 10 years after I got out of university. I started as an aerobics instructor / personal trainer.
Right.
I actually grew up in Kitchener-Waterloo.
Okay.
And then I recognized that if I wanted to make it in the fitness industry, I needed to move to a bigger city. So I
Yes.
came down to Toronto, and I worked for 10 years as a personal trainer / I did the fit tests, I guess you could say, and talked to people about their fitness and setting them up on a program. So I sold the
consulting.
back end of the business. I
Right.
sold the personal training. And then I had kids, and when you have kids, you work when everybody else in the fitness industry, you work
Right.
when everybody else didn't, and I was missing a lot of their childhood.
Mm.
So I know I needed to change careers, and somebody suggested I'd be a good property manager.
Property
And I
man-
said, yeah, I said, buildings, don't they just stand there and run themselves?
Right.
I'll tell you they don't.
Okay.
So I ended up getting into real estate in the property management field, and I've been there for about 25 years now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I've worked my way up to a VP level.
Yes.
So I don't just hang out in a gym. I also work in the corporate world. There's
Wow.
two sides of Ella.
Yes. Okay. Well, that's awesome. So you did work in the fitness industry for a while,
I did.
and then you in the corporate world now. But do you do corporate and still do some of the fitness, like no training? Okay. Okay.
No, I don't do the personal training. I think at some point in time, but I work in a very stressful, demanding industry.
Okay.
I'm on call 24/7. Granted, if there's a problem, that gets to my level. It's a really, really big problem. So usually I don't get a midnight call or anything like that. So at some point in time, I think I'd like to put in a couple more years and then maybe not retire, but take a step back in health and wellness or fitness, whether it's personal training or whatever is likely the avenue that I'd go down. So there will be a return at some point in time. I'm
Yes.
thinking when that will be. I have no idea. But yeah.
So with your fitness journey, are there some key things that you are really proud of that you've accomplished? You know, in your time in fitness from dating back 20 years, are there any like benchmarks or key points that you're like, I'm really proud of this and what I was able to accomplish?
I think the fact that I'm still at it is a huge accomplishment for me. And
Yes.
I'm very proud of the fact that I've had longevity in the sport. I've had longevity in the fitness journey. I think that's really important to me. I think a lot of what I do, whether it is some of the other hobbies that I pursue, fitness or work, I think one of the things that I'm most proud of is making a positive impact in people's lives. As I said, there's been a lot of people who've come up to me in the gym and said, sorry, excuse me, that you inspire me, which is great. A positive impact on those that I love too. I think like my family and my friends who have said that. So that means more to me than any trophy or medal or anything like that. Um, Obviously, getting my pro card was a big accomplishment. A lot of athletes go their whole career and never get, go through multiple competitions
It's not easy
and
to
don't
get,
get
is my
it.
understanding.
No, it's not easy, and it takes a lot of perseverance. Took me 10 years to get.
Yeah.
So proud of that. I'm proud of the success that I've had at the pro level. Um, it's kind of hard when you're, used to getting a first and second and stuff, and then you drop back down to the pro level, and you're the small fish in the pond, and then it's you gotta. It's a little bit humbling. So, but I have had some success. I've had 2 top 3 finishes. Got a little check.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's been fun. Um, but yeah, again, I think the thing that I'm most proud of is the fact that I'm still doing it and that I've had some positive impact on people surrounding me.
I spoke with a couple of, because of what I do in photography, I have the opportunity of shooting a lot of fitness athletes, and
Mhm.
something that came up. I just wanted to know if you experienced it as well. It's called what they call gold medal depression. So after a
Mm.
competition, working up to that point, and say you got gold or silver, whatever the case is, after that happens, there's sometimes for some people a little bit of a depression, and it's hard to get motivated to get ready or prep for another competition. Do you experience that?
Yeah, 100% for sure. Or the post prep blues, I guess you could
Yes.
say. Um, it's kind of easy to get excited when you're getting smaller and you have a goal and you're striving towards something and you have a purpose, I guess you could say. When you're coming off of a competition, whether I place or not, it's always difficult to change my mindset in terms of, now I'm getting bigger. I'm losing some of the cuts. I'm gaining weight instead of losing weight. And it does become a little bit depressing, I guess you could say. Motivation sometimes is low at that point in time. Discipline, listen, I'm very, very disciplined, but I have my bad days as well. So, and I have gotten to a point where I get into a funk and I'm eating not the best, making the best choices in my diet and not getting to the gym. And then I'm in a funk because I'm not going to the gym and I'm eating poorly, but I'm eating poorly and not going to the gym because I'm in a funk. So
Right.
it's kind of a vicious cycle. I try really, really hard not to beat myself up, or if I'm during prep and I have a weak moment and I eat something I'm not supposed to, or I maybe don't go as hard as I should, uh, I kind of forgive myself and move on. And it's the same kind of thing. I know eventually I'll get out of that funk or that post show blues, and I will get back into it. So I just try not to beat myself up. I try to surround myself with supportive people. I have a great network of friends through the gym and a network of girlfriends that I compete with, and reaching out to them for support and encouragement always helps. Um, and then it's just about getting back into it and getting out of that funk, because I start to feel better once I start getting onto my program and being disciplined with my diet and my exercise again.
And I think that there's such value in that. I think it's important for people to know that someone as disciplined as you, that sometimes we all have to kind of, fight through our own, barriers or restrictions sometimes, because we're going through something. And I think some people get really hard on themselves if they're unable, I'm not being consistent.
Yeah.
And I see this person in the gym or this person in the magazine or in social media, and, they beat themselves up, where it is something that everybody may go through, and that everybody has to find a way of motivating themselves and moving forward. So I think it's good to hear.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we all have our bad days.
Mm-hmm.
The gym really is a refuge for me. I
Right.
feel like within those 4 walls, I have complete control. I pick up the weight I want. I start when I want. I go as heavy as I want. I go as light as I want. Um, Outside of those 4 walls, I have no control of what goes on. And it's gotten me through some really tough situations in my life. I mentioned my separation. I also lost my parents during a prep. within 4 days of each other. So my father actually passed away on the day that we buried my mother.
Really?
Yeah. So I was in the middle of a prep, and my coach called me and said, "Hey, sorry, I'm getting a little bit emotional."
No, I understand.
Called me and said, "Hey, I totally understand if you dropped out." And for me, it was the one place and the one thing that I could focus on to get me through that difficult time. So it's really been a refuge for me, and a place of solitude, and a place of control. Like, I had no control over that situation.
Yeah.
So being in a place where I had control was very important to help me get through that situation.
Yeah. It's pretty powerful.
Yeah. So,
So when you do competitions, does that ever come to mind, like that experience?
sure, of course.
Yeah.
Like, it does. And the coach constantly reminds me about it, because, saying that they would have been proud of me, which, I know secretly, although my mom used to, every time I showed her a picture of me bodybuilding, she'd be like, "Oh, Ella, you ruined your body." and I'd say, "Mom, a lot of guys don't think so."
Wow. Well, it's the old way of thinking sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. Very old school, but yeah. So
Yeah. Oh. Wow. That I didn't know that about you. So it was interesting to see, and how you're able to persevere through something like
for
that.
sure, yeah.
That's not easy for everybody. I wish I had some
That's all right.
tissue.
Sorry.
Oh,
Didn't
don't
intend to start
apologize.
crying.
That's real and authentic, and I appreciate that. Wow. So, I guess it's come to the conclusion of our conversation here, and I hope that we could connect again and have more of a conversation. I'm hoping to have a group of individuals that are part of the fitness industry, and just talk about shared experiences, and just what it takes to get to the level that you're at. And I would consider you at an elite level. Is that fair to say, in my opinion?
Thank you.
And so, before we leave, is there anything that you would like to say, or that's pressing on your mind right now, that anyone that's watching that's interested in getting involved in what you do? Is there any advice or anything that you would give to anybody?
I think for me is like, if you're looking at doing something like this, just do it. Do it under the guidance of somebody who knows what they're doing, but do it for yourself. Make sure you're doing it not because you want to get that gold medal or that first place. Do it for yourself. There's lots of different reasons why people go on a fitness journey, whether it's a competition or not, but it needs to come from within. So, getting into better shape, or doing something, stepping on stage, overcoming a fear, or anything like that, just do it, and reach out to people who have done it before and get a lot of support, 'cause it's not an easy thing. And don't beat yourself up, as I said, if you step off the diet plan, or you don't have the stellar workout, don't beat yourself up. Just get back on it and keep going.
Okay. Now, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you this about, and I know I said that was the last question. I got one more. In regards to prep.
Yep.
Like, do you have a competition coming up shortly?
I don't. I'm just coming off of a competition.
Right.
I'm still in my diet out, although it hasn't been very successful with the Christmas season. It hasn't been as tight as it should be. I don't have one coming up, but I will start my progress season. So that's when most of the improvements are made, is in the off season, not in prep.
Yeah. And what does that look like? Like, just so people could have an idea of, when you're prepping, what does that look like? Is this every day, couple hours a day? What's involved in that?
Yeah. Well, it's a lifestyle for me, so it's not just a prep thing. My weeks generally look like 6 days a week, 2 times in the gym. So I'm in the morning for cardio,
Yeah.
and then I'm back in the evening for weights. That's just my regular daily routine. When I'm in prep, it gets a little bit more strenuous, especially as I get closer to prep. We will go up to 7 days a week, but on the 7th day is mainly just cardio. So I do 2 sessions of cardio. But when I'm close to competition, it's an hour of cardio in the morning, weights in the evening with followed by another another hour of cardio.
Okay. I didn't realize there's so much cardio involved.
Unfortunately, for me, there is, yes, and different athletes do it
Differently, yeah.
Or different coaches have different regimes for their athletes, but that's what my schedule looks like. So, and I work downtown Toronto and commute in between there, so my days are very, very full.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So there's always something going on with you from morning to night.
For sure. And then diet, of course, 6
Yeah.
meals a day, and I measure all my food. So I'm either exercising, working, or eating.
Okay. Well, that's the true life. But you said something interesting. You said it's a lifestyle. So it's not just during prep or whatever. This is a lifestyle that you've done for many years.
Yeah,
And
it's
so-
not just 6 months of the year.
Yeah.
It's 12 months of the year, and sometimes, as I say, I'm a little bit more lax and
Yeah.
a little bit more not as intense, I guess you could say. But yeah,
All right. So that ends our conversation
thank you
today.
Neil. I enjoyed it.
It was great to have you on. I learned a lot about you, a lot more. There's one thing about taking pictures and just having a conversation, but actually sitting down and speaking with you, this was nice. It was good to connect with you.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
Anytime. And I hope everybody enjoyed the conversation that we had, and see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.